Hi, good morning, everyone. Let's now start with the next and a very important topic called roll-up summary. So what exactly is a roll-up summary? Let's first of all understand that. See, uh, whenever you go to in the Salesforce, we are having so many fields which we call as system generated field. I'll show you a few of the examples I mean, for example, if you go with this field, like there's a field called as an owner, right? Whenever you create a record inside any object, now whichever user creates the record, this field would automatically take the name of that user, right? Example, if there are 5 users inside an organization and one by one, if they are creating a record, so the one who has created the record, the name automatically comes over here. So we used to call this as what? We used to call it as a system generated field. There are few fields like created by, last modified by, owner, IDs. These are what? These are system generated fields. The value of created by, the value of last modified by, right? The value of owner. These are what? These are system generated field. That is the first point. Now, probably, let me try to see. We created certain auto number fields, if I'm not wrong. Let me try to open a record. Inside which object? Let me go with position. See, in the position, you can see that there's a field called as reference ID. Now, this reference ID, if you see the data type, this field is an auto number field, right? Reference ID, where is it? Reference ID is one, it's an auto number field. Now, what is an auto number field is like, that is also a system generated field. See, if you try to edit, this appears to be in a read-only form. You can edit name, vacancies, email IDs, and as well. You cannot edit this. The value what is generating over here, P-0001, and for some another record, it would be like maybe 0002, 3, whatever, right? Now see, this is something which is automatically generated from the system. So this kind of field, the auto number is that good example. We could say that this is a system generated first of all, because we are not entering this 001, 002, 003, that is automatically generating. So what we can say about this field is that it's a system generated. It's a system generated and read only. You put your cursor, it appears to be locked. That this field is locked. You can edit this one. You can edit this one as well. You cannot edit this. So the appearance, if you see this icon, if you see this symbol, it itself indicate that this field cannot be edited, right? So now I could say that a kind of example I could say for this is a system generated first of all, and it's a read-only field, right? Now similarly, your roll-up summary is what? The roll-up summary is also a system generated read-only field. The value, I mean, how come the value of this is coming out? At the time of creation of this field, if you remember, at the time of creation of this field, while we were creating that field, if you remember, we have given that this should be the display format. This should be the display format, and it should start with like 0001. That would be the first value, and that is the reason it is coming up like this only. Now, in the same way, your roll-up summary is what? The first thing what you have to understand about roll-up summary is a system generated field. The roll-up summary is a system generated field, and it's a read-only field. The value whatever is going to be generated for this particular field would automatically is going to be calculated from the system itself, and it's a read-only field. Once the value is being generated, we cannot modify it. Now, how come this value is being generated? All right, how come this value is being generated? So in roll-up summary, there are 4 different functions. Whatever the function at the time of creation of the field you would going to select, based on that calculation, the value is going to be generated for this field. What are those 4 functions? Count, minimum, maximum, and sum. Count, minimum, maximum, and sum. Now there are few, what I could say is like there are few rules before creating a roll-up summary that we must be aware of. The first thing is whenever we are creating a roll-up summary, right? The relationship between the two object, the relationship between the two objects should always be a master detail relationship. I mean, if there are two objects and they are having a lookup relationship, you cannot create a roll-up summary over there, except between account and opportunity. Account and opportunity is the only lookup relationship in entire Salesforce ecosystem. This is the only inside entire CRM. This is the only lookup relationship, account and opportunity, where you could create a roll-up summary. Apart from that, whenever you wanted to create a roll-up summary, first of all, you have to see what is the type of relationship between these two objects. And it must be master detail. Then second, while creating a roll-up summary, right, on an object, we could maximum create 25 roll-up summary. That is a governor limit. We could maximum create 25 roll-up summaries, not more than that. That's a governor limit. And whenever we are creating a roll-up summary, it's always created onto parent object. If there are two objects, if you wanted to create a roll-up summary, it must always be created onto parent. So these are three important things you should be aware. Rather four. How many different types of function it have? Count, minimum, maximum, and sum. These are the four default functions. Whatever roll-up summary would show you, one function is being selected always. And I'll going to show you with examples. Don't worry. We are having 2 to 3 examples. So I would showing you that. Don't worry. What are those functions? Count, minimum, maximum, and sum. Now, whenever we are creating a roll-up summary, the relationship type must always be a master detail relationship. All right. We cannot create roll-up summary on lookup relationship. Then an object can have only 25 roll-up summaries, not more than that. And whenever we are creating a roll-up summary, it must always be created onto the parent object, right? Now let me show you with examples, right? So we are having one use case like configure a roll-up summary field onto the position object to represent the count of candidate for each position. Okay, let me first of all describe you. See, we are having one object called as candidate. Let me try to create few records over here. All right, that would essentially be required. So let's say we are having and the position which he is applying is for senior account manager. I think I made this fields as unique. Let me do one customizations. Otherwise, what is going to be happen would be like, every time I would have to enter a unique PAN numbers and all that. Yeah, this is unique. Let me go and remove the unique part so that I could duplicate some records. And even I'm not making this as required. Let me do those changes. PAN number and the second one was passport number. So this one, although this is not required, but at least it was unique. So it would require every time you have to enter certain new values, right? And they are mandatory onto page layout as well. Let me remove that compulsion also. Just let me do certain refinements. Right. Okay. So the candidate name would be like, like Akshay Patil. Notice period is, for example, immediate. And the position what he is applying for is Java developer. The location is Bangalore. Contact number would be like this. PAN number is something like this. Batch number, current CTC, and the expected CTC. These are some of the things. Year of experience may be like 6. Sorry. And then let me save this record. Now let me clone this. And maybe it would be like Taap Singh. And maybe he's applying for a position called this. I'll keeping everything else same. I'm just changing this name and for which he's applying. Maybe next is Kunal. And then he's being applying for software tester position. I'm saving this as well. Let me create a few more records. Let's say that we have Chetan. He's also an immediate joiner and he's applying for a Java developer position. Let me save this. And let's say that we are having Pallavi. She's also applying for Java developer. Let me now save this. Yeah. Now see, if I go with the candidates, I go with all candidates. Let me show you. Let's say these are the candidates, all right, and they have applied for this different positions. Now, for example, I wanted to calculate that for a particular position, if I go with like position record, if I go with position and I go with all positions, these are the positions like Java developer, a senior account manager, and software test. Now, I wanted to see that for each position, how many candidates have applied. Like, I wanted to see like how many of the candidates have applied for Java developer. How many of them have applied for senior account manager or maybe a software tester? So actually, we are going to solve this with roll-up summary, of course. But if let's say we were not having this mechanism, all right, let's consider that there is nothing called as roll-up summary. What in that case, what you are going to do? You would going to go with candidate object and you would individually evaluate each record, maybe with coding or some other efforts. And then you will see, okay, Akshay Patil has applied for what? Java developer. I'll take up a count, right? The count would initially 0. I'll take a variable where the count, the variable name would be like, count of candidate for Java, something like this. I'll put it 0 inside. I initialize it 0. And when I see that there's a candidate who has applied for Java, I'll make it 1. Another candidate also applied, I can make it 1 plus 1. That gives me 2. And then 3 and then 4. So this has to be done on the complete record. So it would obviously be a programming effort. It would obviously, I'm not saying this is not possible. Yes, of course, it is possible. It's possible. But then you have to write down code for that. The roll-up summary is that out-of-box functionality. Roll-up summary is that non-coding functionality by which we could solve this kind of problems where you wanted to get the count of something, right? I wanted to get the count of, for example, how many candidates has applied for a particular position. And let's say that, we are having certain object like account and opportunity. There are few of the fields like inside account, there's a field called annual revenue. Inside opportunity, there's a field called as amount. And for example, you do a certain campaigns, right? Let's understand. I'm just talking about scenario. Let's consider there is one campaigning has been done. And that campaigning was, for example, it was something a charitable campaigning. We were doing certain campaigning to collect a kind of fund, for a particular good reason. Right. So we wanted, what is the total amount that has been collected by that donation? I mean, what you are doing would be like, you are taking money, you are entering this into a record. That this particular person, Bhagyashri, has paid this much amount, Chetna has paid this much amount, Kajal has paid this much amount, something like that. Now, at the end of this, you wanted like, okay, what is the maximum amount that has been generated from this campaign? How to do that sum? You wanted to see the name who has given minimum and who has given the maximum amount. So you go with minimum and maximum functions. So these are some ready-made functions that are available with your roll-up summary. So in our use case for right now, we wanted to what? We wanted to count how many candidates has applied for a particular position. How many of them has applied for Java, for .NET, whatever the position we are holding with us. How many of them has applied? So what I would going to do would be like, and I'll be creating a roll-up summary. I'll be creating a roll-up summary. So whenever we are creating a roll-up summary, what is the first requirement? The first requirement is you have to check with the relationships. What is the type of relationship between these two objects? So I obviously would require to check it. I obviously would require to check it. So between position and candidate, I know one thing, that candidate is child. And to check this relationship, I then either I can go with schema builder, or else, आप यहाँ पर जाके you can go with the relationship field and you can evaluate what is the type of relationship over here. Now, as you can see, it's a master detail relationship. The position applied is that field, right? Inside candidate, there's a field called position applied, this one. And this will allow you to select one position. So what is the nature of this field, position applied? We can see that the field called position applied is a relationship field, that to be in a master detail. So my first requirement is completed. The second is governor limit. You can skip for now. Third, whenever you are creating a roll-up summary, this has to be created onto parent. All right. So candidate is what? Candidate is child object. Between candidate and position, who is parent? Position is parent. So this field, what you are about to create, should always be created into parent. So I'll go with position. I'll expand force.com. I'll go with new field. What type of new field? Roll-up summary. What type of new field? Roll-up summary. All of the system generated fields, right? See, understand. For those, the values are automatically generated. They are grouped into this section. Auto number is one of that example. Formula fields, sorry. And then roll-up summary. These are some of the kind of fields where the values are generated automatically. The values are generated automatically, right? They are being listed out into a section. All right. So what I wanted to generate, I want to create a roll-up summary. So I'll selecting roll-up summary, and then next. Give the label what you are observing. You are trying to observe what with this field, what you are trying to observe. I am trying to observe for a particular position how many candidates has applied. So I would be going with like, like number of candidates. Yeah, candidate count, something like that. Candidate count. For a particular position, how many candidate has applied. So I'm giving the name as candidate count. You can give a more relevant name and go with this as well. Now, who is going to be, if master object is position, who is going to be summary? I mean, for example, let's say position is related to two objects. So both of them are going to be listed out over here. Or three objects, all or three are, or four objects. So they are going to be listed out over here. So summarize object matlab child object hota hai. So in case like position is parent, who's child? Candidate is child. All right. Now select the roll-up tile. Would ask you to select formula what you wanted to apply. Then you could select only one formula per field. Understand? If you wanted count, you also wanted sum, you also wanted minimum, you also wanted maximum. Then you have to create 4 different roll-up summaries. This cannot be accommodated into a single roll-up. Understand? And maximum I could create 25. Maximum I could create 25 roll-up summaries on a single object. If now I'm creating one roll-up summary inside position, after creating this, I can again create 24 more, but not more than 25. Right? In our use case, what we wanted to have the count value. So I'll go with count. I'll go with the function which I selected is count. And then next, I'm landing it onto for every user, and the default layout is position. I'll go with that only. And now we are having one roll-up summary field, candidate count. This indicates that it is internally is being calculated. So let's wait for some time till the time it is internally getting calculated. You can see this outcome just by refreshing after some time. And now you can see that this field has been, this field has been ready inside position object. What I can do is like, I can go with position, or I can open every position over here. For example, if I open Java, I can see there would be one field called candidate count. Let me try to get it. Candidate count. You can see for this position how many candidate has applied. So there are 4 candidates, those who have applied for this position Java, right? You can go with software tester. How many have applied? One. You can go with senior account manager. How many of them has applied to? This is the one way. The another good way is to do this is like, don't open every position. Go with all. This is all. Just bring one more column over, because that column is what? It's a field. So you can definitely bring it over here. Something bad is happening with mouse. Edit columns. Yeah, I can just bring one more field over here like this. Save it. So it would show me over here itself. For Java, there are 4 candidates. For this position, there are 2 candidates. And for this position, there are 1 candidate has been applied, right? So whenever you are having this a kind of a use case, how to solve it? Via roll-up summary. But whenever we are creating roll-up summary, we have few considerations. First of all, type of relationship must always be master detail. And second, roll-up summaries are created onto parent, and we can maximum create 25 roll-up summary. Like just now we created one onto position. What's the scope which is left with us? 24 more. We can more, if you wanted to create some more roll-up summary onto position, 24 are left. I mean, you could go and create 24 more, but not more than 25, remember, right? So that was first example. Let me try to solve few more so that you would have a better understanding on this. Configure a roll-up summary field again on the position object, and that would indicate me how many immediate joiners. How many immediate joiners are there? For example, right now you understand that for Java developer there are 4 candidates. Let me try to see them. For Java developers, right? I'll go with all, and I'll bring one more column over here. Edit column. Notice period. All right, for Java, 7 days. Okay. Now, as you can see that for Java, that's 1, 2, 3, and then 4. There are 4 candidates, right? If I'm not wrong. For Java, there are 4 candidates. Now we are having one use case, and we wanted to see out of these 4, how many of them are immediate joiners. For this is an immediate. This is also immediate. This is also, but this one is not. So from here, you can, you can understand that out of 4, 3 of them could join immediately. But I don't have to count it. Neither I have to do it manually or maybe with programmatically, right? I can again create a roll-up summary for this as well. So what I'm going to do would be like, once again, I'll go with the position and I'll expand this. I'll go with new field. One is already created, another one I'm creating. I can create maximum 25 roll-up summaries, right? One new roll-up summary. This would indicate me immediate joiners. All right, I'm giving the name as immediate joiner. And the next summarize would be, again, I wanted count, but this time I'm going with a filter criteria. I mean, previous to this, I haven't selected anything, right? I would be selecting a filter criteria. So all of the records include in the calculation, only the records that are meeting certain criteria. So I'm giving the criteria over here, right? I would be giving a criteria. Now, what is my criteria? See, understand. Inside the candidate object, I would observe a field called as notice period. So if you are giving me the count of candidates, understand, if you are giving me the count of candidates, don't give me everything. Rather give me only those records. Rather give me the count of only those records where the notice period equals to C. This is the formula I'm building up. And I hope this is pretty simple thing to understand. This is not a rocket science. I wanted you to give me a count. Sorry. I wanted you to give me a count of what? Count of candidates, particularly applying for a position. If there is a position called as Java developer, give me the value of count of all those candidates who was applied for this position. Let's say Java. But did I wanted you to give me everything? No, 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 no. While giving me this count, please evaluate this with a certain condition. And what is that condition? Go to the notice period of each record and see how many of them could join immediately, where the value of notice period equals to immediate. Just show me those records count and exclude all others, right? So this is what a formula I have designed. You can build up 10, maximum 10 formula fields, not more than that. Go and make it visible and save it. Now, if you go with like Java, you open Java developer. Here you would going to see something called as immediate joiner S3. But better it would be like, when you, if you can bring it onto the home page itself, that would be a good thing. So I go up over here and I'll add a field called as immediate joiner. Let me remove this. Yeah. Now you can see that there is a position called Java developer. How many candidates has applied for the same? There are 4 candidates, but out of that 4, 3 of them could join immediately. Out of senior account manager, there are like 2 candidates has applied. One of them could join immediately, right? This is how the roll-up summary would actually works, right? So go with these 2 examples, and there are 3 more assignments, and go with that all by today. If you found anything difficult, you can ask me on to the chat. I mean WhatsApp, sorry. And tomorrow I'm going to take one-to-one association. That is going to be the last topic of relationship. All right. And one last thing I just wanted to tell is actually my Zoom license has been expired. I'm not sure why, because I have purchased for it for 1 year. So I have raised a case for the Zoom that I paid you for next 1 year. How come you can say that my license has been expired? So probably this version what I'm using right now is not a paid version. So the difficulty over here is that, and that was the reason I have to change that link. So I'm doing 2 things. I mean, I'm asking for them to upgrade my license once again, or otherwise, if it doesn't happen, if won't happen, I'll have to purchase for another license, right? So हो सकता है कि मैं फिर से एक बार लिंक चेंज कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है? So keep watching, I mean, keep a watch onto your WhatsApp group, because this is what I'm facing difficulty with Zoom right now. All right. Any questions you wanted to ask? Let me give you this command. Yeah, now you can unmute yourself. And somebody in, I could see the name as HN1X26. What is this? कोई alien आके बैठा है class में? Yeah.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Initially, you had made some adjustment. Are they required to form the roll-up summary?
What adjustment? I just created record inside candidate. I wanted you
before
to.
That.
What
before
was
that, you have made not read only required something.
No,
Right?
I was explaining. I haven't made anything read only. Inside candidate.
Okay.
Inside
Yes,
candidate.
yes.
These
You had
fields.
made some adjustment, no?
No. It was not required. I was trying to understand you that whenever you, if I create a record, what I was doing, let me show you. There's a record called Pallavi, right? I was cloning this record, right? When I clone it, the value of PAN number, passport number, if for example, if now I'm making a record of Chetna, all right? I'm now making a record of Chetna, for example. Now, for this record, these are going to be the value. Passport number and PAN number would be the same. If these values are unique, if I save it, it would going to give me the error. Why? Because these values are unique. Understand? That is the
Yes, sir.
reason
Yes,
I
sir.
just remove that unique. I mean, if you duplicate, it would allow you. Otherwise, what is going to be happen every time I have to change this as well, this as well. So just to
They were
avoid
for
that.
just example, no?
Obviously,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay. And
Right.
one more question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, External lookup relationship is remaining, I think so.
External
It is
lookup would
not
be
covered,
going.
no?
I'm not going to cover that. It would be going to be an assignment for you guys. External lookup and lookup are same. There's only one small concept, is a small line difference between them. Whenever you relate Salesforce object with some another object, maybe with some another system. For example, you would be going to learn something called as Salesforce to Salesforce integration. Let me try to show you. There would be a topic you would be going to learn in integration called as Salesforce to Salesforce integration. Let me try to show you that. Yeah, this one, Salesforce to Salesforce. So see, whenever we are connecting two Salesforce organization, right? One is your, or maybe another one is mine. There is a provision in Salesforce that you could connect them. Now, for example, you wanted to form a relationship of account with account, or maybe account with contact, or maybe like hiring manager with position, something like that. You wanted to connect to, let me try to draw a diagram as well. See, this is one Salesforce organization. This is another Salesforce organization. Now over here inside this Salesforce organization, there is one object, right? And over here also there is an object. Now I wanted to create a relationship between these two, right? If I'm relating Salesforce, this Salesforce organization with this, and if I'm creating a relationship like this is not an issue. You can connect them in lookup, master detail, whatever. I mean, these are two objects, but they belongs to same organization. So you are having something called as lookup and external lookup and master detail an option for this. But when you are connecting one object with another object, but they belongs to two different Salesforce organization, then what is, first of all, is it possible? The answer is yes, it is possible. Salesforce allow you to do that. You could form a relationship between two objects, that to be if they are not belongs to the same organization, if they belongs to two different Salesforce organization. But what is going to be the relationship type for that? It's going to be, they are going to be connected into external lookup relationship. So that is what you are going to understand in a topic called a Salesforce to Salesforce integration. But that's a part of integration, and that is the reason we are not covering it right now. Although it is going to be get covered, but in a different topic. But right now I'm giving you this in an assignment. You have to make a research onto this and create your own thesis regarding this. I mean, just create your own document. What is this, where it is used, how this relationship could be formed, and everything related to that, right? Just go and take it this in an assignment. Yeah. Anything else?
Sure, sir.
Anything else? All right, then. Thank you so much for joining.